Look, I'm not obsessed with Hitler. I really don't even know that much about him.
Buddy, it's Führer Friday. It is Hitler Friday. Shut up. It is Heil Hitler Friday, nigga. Heil Hitler. All my Nazis, nigga.
Hitler was a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really cool. So,
I mean, now, if you can stand with Nick Fuentes on his bully pulpit talking about Hitler, I mean, something is wrong with you. Ladies and gentlemen, who is Nick Fuentes? I'm sure you've been hearing about his name recently. Some people know who he is. Most people don't. For those of you who don't know who he is, you're not missing anything. However, I am steadily witnessing something take place on the right that has to be called out. All right. Now, I saw that this could happen back when Shiloh Hendricks, you remember her, that Caucasian lady who called the Somali young boy who was about 8 years of age. She used the N word in reprimanding him during a time frame when he was going through her bag. And that became a viral story. And people were condoning her rhetoric. Now, I don't blame Shiloh Hendrick for wanting to rebuke this kid. You know, I wouldn't blame her if she grabbed her bag and popped his hand and say, "Don't do that again," or "I'm going to jack you up and take you to your parents." I wouldn't blame her for that. But to jump to using a racial slur while upbraiding him, I mean, that wasn't the best play, okay? But there were countless people who came out and said, I see no problem with an adult calling a child a racial slur, which makes no sense. It's a kid, okay? And I told stories about how I was at a pool before in my neighborhood, and a young kid was going through our bag. I guess the kid wanted some of our food. I think it was some crackers or some Cheez-Its or something like that, or some goldfish. And I didn't call the white kid a racial slur. I didn't say, "Hey, you trailer park, blah, 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 blah." Why would I do that? Of course I'm a Christian and I'm a minister, but even beyond that, you're not going to say that to a child. And if someone is going through your belongings trying to find something like food or a juice box, at the end of the day, they're hungry or thirsty. And from where I come from, we're going to help that person and support them, regardless if they are white or black. The whole Shiloh Hendricks thing told me that we were headed in the wrong direction in our country, as noteworthy people came out and defended her rhetoric, okay? For her to have a reaction to someone going through her bag, that's justified, but her rhetoric was off. But now fast forward to today, and we have clowns like Nick Fuentes. I want to show you a post that I made recently on Twitter, and this is what I had to say about Nick Fuentes. Take a look at this. All right. It reads, "The right is steadily being infiltrated by Stalin-loving, Hitler-praising, racist-affirming, sexually confused sycophants who are capitalizing off of a dopamine rush of talking macho behind screens. These clowns fold like cheap tents when you confront them face to face." This is what I had to say about Nick Fuentes. And for the most part, most people saw the truth in what I had to say in this statement. And there was a good group of people who disagreed, and they reached out to me and they said, "Hey, Pastor John, have you listened to Nick Fuentes before? Do you know what he stands for? Do you know what he believes? Do you know what he supports? How can you just come out and say these things about him?" And I was puzzled because many of these people were Christians. And I thought to myself, how can a Christian rightfully defend the integrity and honor of someone as despicable as Nick Fuentes. How do you do it? I mean, and do it with a straight face. I even lost some followers on X, on Instagram, and on YouTube for this post and for sharing my feedback on this, and on Facebook. I lost some followers because I called out Nick Fuentes for being the creep that he is. And people were telling me, well, it's apparent that you don't listen to him. It's apparent that you don't know anything about him. And so I figured, hey, maybe I need to do more research, although I had already done enough research. But in this episode, let's research and take a look at who Nick Fuentes really is. This first clip that I'm going to show you, he's talking about Hitler. Take a look at this.
One, look, I'm not obsessed with Hitler. I really don't even know that much about him.
Buddy, it's Führer Friday. It is Hitler Friday. Shut up. It is Heil Hitler Friday, nigga. Heil Hitler. All my Nazis, nigga.
Hitler was a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really cool. So, you know, time to grow up. We're not children anymore. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, boys? Am I right? Let's go. He was also really cool. And any boy knows that. Anybody who watches these videos where he's rolling down the street and stuff, it's like, this guy's awesome. This guy's cool.
Just American general.
Hitler. Oh, American.
$10. Up pointing finger.
If we're going to say Hitler bad, then I'm going to say Churchill bad, and I'm going to say Roosevelt bad, and I'm going to say they're all bad. But if we look at him as a product of his time in that moment, you know, we have to judge him with those things in mind.
Hitler was an incredibly ambitious, aggressive risk taker. Given your qualifications, would you thereby say that Hitler is a good leader?
It's indisputable he is. Indisputably. You could even say he's evil. He made Germany great again.
Second semester, you know, I got home in the spring and I was like, Mom, Dad, Hitler was awesome. Hitler was right. And the Holocaust didn't happen. And my parents were like, we cannot believe what you are saying. We did not raise you like this. I'm like, I can't believe you're not being chill about this. It's 1 hour to cook a batch of cookies. And you have 15 ovens, probably in 4 different kitchens, right? Doing 24 hours a day, every day for 5 years. How long would it take you to make 6 million? I don't know. It certainly wouldn't be 5 years, right? The math doesn't seem to add up there. The math doesn't quite seem to add up there. I don't think you'd result in 6 million, maybe 200 to 300,000 cookies. And I think the Red Cookie Association said something like that, probably 200 to 300,000 cookies baked, probably. And in addition, you know, in this hypothetical, I imagine that if you took aerial photographs over the kitchens, you would need to see certain smokestacks to release the smoke from baking the cookies. And the smokestacks would project certain shadows, but I guess they're not visible in the aerial photographs taken over the kitchens. Moreover, if you look at the soil texture, it's really not deep enough for mass cookie storage underground. And so there's a lot of things, you know, in the cookie kitchen, they say that the ovens are wooden and they have windows on them and they're not totally secure. And the ovens that they use, they actually did sort of an ad hoc use of that particular kind of oven, even though they made a perfectly good design for ovens for a different purpose, for delousing. I mean, you know, for something else. So none of it really adds up. I don't know. It just kind of doesn't really make sense, this crazy cookie analogy.
All right. Enough.
So 6 million cookies.
And so there you have it. There's he's doing a rant on, you know, likening Jews who were incinerated by fire to baking cookies. I mean, now, if you can stand with Nick Fuentes on his bully pulpit talking about Hitler, I mean, something is wrong with you. And this is why I call him an anti-Semite. He is anti-Semitic. He is. All right, next, let's hear what Nick Fuentes had to say about Brandon Tatum. Watch.
Tatum aka Officer Tatum, you should watch his 30 minutes crash to Nick Fuentes x Tucker Carlson interview. Lol, and his comments are filled with Zios who despise you.
Why would I? He's an idiot. Hey man, hey man, Tucker, some. Hey man, he's a idiot. Brandon Tatum is an idiot. Dumbest person I've ever heard. He should get an education. Officer Tatum should get an education. He should learn how to fucking read. So
Jim
why
Bob
would I
Langford
waste
sent
my time?
$25.
All right, so there you have it. He's there clearly calling Officer Tatum the N-word. I mean, how can you watch that and not think that he's a racist? You know, I can't say, you know, that I'm not a racist, but at the same time, I casually drop racial slurs repeatedly. Now, I do want to put this out here. You all pardon me with these clips. I'm doing my best to edit out as much of the profanity as possible, but it's difficult to do with all of the clips that I'm going to show in this episode. And so if you hear some words that you don't normally hear, I'm not condoning this type of rhetoric, but I do want to show you clearly who Nick Fuentes is. Now, this next clip is clear that this guy is a white nationalist. Take a look at this.
Hey, I'm a stone cold white nationalist and I love Hitler and I don't want Indians here and I'm not a Democrat, okay? And I'm not woke and I'm not liberal.
Okay, so just because he's not woke, just because he's not liberal, but you know, he's a Hitler loving, he's Stalin sympathizing, and he has all of these negative things to say about black people. Yeah, we should support him because of the anti-woke part. Man, I don't buy that. I don't rock like that. I don't think that it's proper for any person to walk around and casually use racial slurs in a demeaning way towards any ethnicity and or people group. I don't think that it is. Now, the N-word has been thrown around through rap music and hip hop and the culture and everything like that. I get it. I get it. But what Nick Fuentes is doing is standing firm on his ideology of white supremacy and being a white nationalist. This isn't just, you know, being free to use the N-word because it's in rap music. No, this guy is a racist. This next clip, take a look at how he handles and treats Charlie Kirk's widow, Erika Kirk. Watch.
It's like, lady, didn't your husband just get his face blown off like 2 seconds ago? And not to be insensitive about it, but everyone's thinking it. No one wants to be the, no one wants to say it. Everyone's thinking it. Everyone was thinking it when she gave the first speech. Everyone was definitely thinking it at the memorial. Nobody wants to say it because it's inappropriate. It's insensitive. I am the troll, right? So I'll be the one to say it. I think it's super inappropriate. I think it's inappropriate. I think it's weird. It's bizarre. Something is off there and I don't like it. But they're doing the Super Bowl commentators with the headsets on, doing a media table. They're selling merch, registering voters. They got pyrotechnics. Is this WrestleMania or is this a funeral? Like, what are we doing here? And then the day after the funeral, I'm getting 500 texts and emails. Erika Kirk here. I miss him. Every time I blink, every beat of my heart. Make sure to donate $5, $15, $25. It's like, okay. Then they're doing a show. Did you see the show today? And so prescient. I said it last night. I said, I'm getting like a fake vibe. I'm not, something's off there. And people say, well, everybody grieves differently. Yeah, I don't know how much mileage we can get out of that one anymore. Something's not right there. Very bizarre, weird vibe there. And did you see the show? Erika hosted the Charlie Kirk show this afternoon, and she's like, she looks like she's over the moon. She's happy as a clam. And again, who am I to judge? Everybody grieves differently. She's a very devout Christian. Some people say maybe that's just strength, that's resolve. I don't know. It's one thing if your husband dies, period. It's another thing if your husband dies at age 31, unexpectedly. It's another thing if your 31-year-old husband unexpectedly dies because he gets publicly executed with blood gushing out in front of thousands of people screaming and running away. That's like something that's altogether different.
All right, so there you have it, my friends. This is Nick Fuentes' rant on how Turning Point handled the memorial service of Charlie Kirk. Now, if this guy knew Charlie Kirk, he would know that Charlie Kirk would want his homegoing to take place in the manner that Erika made sure that it did. You have 277,000 people who showed up on the premises of the arena for Charlie's funeral. Charlie would have very much so, wanted them to register voters. Charlie was into winning. All right. And the guy, he didn't have a small vision. He had a big vision. And he capitalized on every moment and opportunity to advance the cause of Christ and conservative values. And at the end of the day, Nick, where is your wife? Okay, you're going to comment on what this widow did at her husband's funeral, but you're not even married. And so you need to sit down and take several seats before you start instructing someone on what they should do as relates to being a spouse. And you're not one. You're some weird, obnoxious guy rolling around trolling for a living, which is why Charlie never wanted to debate you in the first place. And your sex, my man, is questionable. So, I mean, come on, take several seats. This next video clip that I want to show you, it speaks for itself. Watch.
Guide, okay? Nick's declassified survival guide. Okay, we had to say it there because for the joke, okay?
So this is Nick Fuentes' N-word survival guide. That's what this is. He created a survival guide on how to keep from being attacked by black people. Watch.
Ned's declassified school survival. If you like that. Okay, we can't make jokes like that. That's not appropriate. That's not appropriate. That's racist. I get that. I disavow. I apologize. It's terrible. Nick's declassified survival guide. Here's some tips, okay? Rule number 1, carry a gun at all times. Now, rule number 2, about carrying a gun. This is what they'll tell you at a concealed carry class. You take any kind of class on firearms, and you should. This is what they will tell you. The biggest problem with carrying a gun, the way that it can make you less safe, is that it gives you a false sense of security. Any firearms expert will tell you the same thing. The best way to survive a deadly encounter is to escape one, is to never find yourself in one. And if you find yourself in one, to de-escalate, to escape, to get away. Okay? So a lot of people think, oh, I got a gun, and then they go looking for trouble. Then they turn off their radar. They turn off their situational awareness. So act as though you're not carrying. Carry at all times, act as though you're not carrying. And by that, I mean, avoid dangerous situations. What's dangerous? Certain neighborhoods, certain major thoroughfares and intersections, certain times a day, certain days of the week. So like here in Chicago, we all know Labor Day and Memorial Day weekend are so violent. So you don't want to find yourself out and about after dark, Labor Day and Memorial weekend. Friday, Saturday, just forget about it. Avoid. We all know in Chicago, when you're on 290, do not get off in the west side. Basically from Austin until maybe Damon or Western, do not get off the highway. No-go zone. South Side, forget it, other than maybe Hyde Park. So know the no-go zones. Be aware of your surroundings. Try to avoid being out past midnight in the problem areas. You know, that situational awareness. Just be alert. When you're in your car at a red light, in traffic, be on high alert. Don't be on your phone. Be aware of your surroundings. When you're walking by yourself or with a group, don't have your headphones in. Don't be looking at your phone. Keep your head on a swivel. If you see something that doesn't make you feel good, get out of Dodge. Your gut is probably right. Trust your gut.
All right. So here
So
it
if
is.
you see a character.
With this clip. This is his N-word survival guide, as if, you know, hey, I'm black. I've been black all my life. Yes, there's some neighborhoods that I don't want to end up in at nighttime or even daytime. But that is true if it's a predominantly black neighborhood, if it's a predominantly Latino neighborhood, Hispanic neighborhood, Asian neighborhood, white neighborhood. I'm from the South, and there's some sundown areas where, hey, you know, you may not want to be out there with all the Confederate flags around 7, 8, 9, 10 p.m. at night. Yeah, it's not a good place for a black person to be. But to label this as a N-word survival guide, I mean, this guy is just, I mean, he's lost his mind. The next thing is, he then goes on to say that white people are justified for being racist towards black people. Take a look.
To the extent that that means going out of your way to avoid black people when you see them. Every bit justified. And you want to know why? Because we see what happens. And nobody is under any obligation due to liberal ideology to put themselves in harm's way. If you're a white person and you're going to work or going to the ball game or going to the city at night, you don't want to enter into the terror dome where you're suddenly in a sudden death match. You're like in the gulag in Call of Duty fighting for your life all of a sudden because you got on the wrong train car. Because a car full of black people pulled up on you by the bus stop. You turn and you walk the other way. You avoid their neighborhoods. You avoid going out on Memorial Day or Labor Day weekend at night in certain places. When you see them, you start walking in the other direction. And we are every bit justified because we see what's going on and we don't want to die. It's that simple.
So
that's pattern recognition.
Clip right there. I mean, one can still make the same connection towards blacks to whites, maybe because of slavery, maybe because of Jim Crow laws. Maybe blacks should be afraid of white people because of the past. And maybe we should avoid all places where white people are because we may be, hung by a noose. I mean, come on, man. I do get it. Yes, there's some places that you don't want to venture off to at certain points of a day. You don't want to. But that goes not only for areas that are predominantly black, but across the board with all ethnicities. All right. This next video clip, it speaks for itself. Watch.
The Black Rowiper sent $25. Welcome back, brother. Even though you're not frickin' brother.
Good to be back, my brother. Here, come on, we're brothers. But hey, good to hear from you, Good to hear from. Oh wait, I said we weren't going to say the N-word. Well, that's not. It's just
All right.
not like I said.
Enough of this one. Once again, that's Nick Fuentes being Nick Fuentes. And if you can be a Christian and defend this kind of rhetoric, this type of behavior, then yeah, my friend, you're not headed to heaven. You're headed to hell. The next clip is Nick Fuentes talking about I can't breathe. Watch.
This some I should have started doing that when the cops were talking to me. I should have just went full Nick. There's some man. Hey man, there's some and then then they arrest me and then I'm like, oh, Officer, please, I can't breathe.
It's crazy. Let a nigga breathe.
All right,
I
there it is.
cannot breathe.
That's Nick Fuentes at his best, calling black people N-words and mocking George Floyd, the "I can't breathe" statement. And finally, people love it when white people say N-word. This is, I guess, the mindset of Nick Fuentes. Watch.
Remigration is inevitable.
Silver sent $109.
Yeah, we're on our
Goodness
way.
gracious, see several Instagram reels of you with hundreds of thousands of views talking about letting a nigga breathe. Good job, you breath.
Yeah, that one went viral. Pretty cool. Thank you for the big super chat. People just love it when a white guy says, people don't even know who I am or anything, but they see a white guy say nigga and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he just said that. It's like, dude, we're so past that. I don't even think about it like it's edgy. I just say it sometimes because it's just a word in my vocabulary. And it comes up on a normie's timeline and they're like,
my friends, you get the point. You get the point. Nick Fuentes is a racist. He's a misogynist. He even had damaging things to say about J.D. Vance's wife, Usha Vance. I mean, from the negative rhetoric and speech that he used towards Erika Kirk, to how he spoke about Jews, the anti-Semitism, I mean, is on full display. You can't defend the character and the behavior of this guy. You see, let me give you my full take on Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is a strategic plant in conservative spaces. Nick Fuentes is not simply a controversial or misunderstood figure. I believe he is a strategic plant disguised as a MAGA, America First Christian conservative voice. He offers a dopamine rush to audiences who crave savage takes and performative bravado. People who mistake loudness for courage and cruelty for conviction. But this behavior lacks humility, self-examination, and Christ-likeness. We are witnessing an infiltration of voices who praise Stalin, Hitler, and racist ideologies, yet sit smug alongside those who once condemned critical race theory, intersectionality, and DEI as racist. Now, many of those same people defend Fuentes as reasonable or just saying what others want. And so if we're going to be against DEI, intersectionality, critical race theory, hey, then we need to we need to tell the truth about this clown and call him out for the racist that he is. This reveals a dangerous double standard. The right once exposed the hypocrisy of the woke left's bigotry, yet some now mirror the same behavior under the banner of being anti-woke. The real question is this: are we being faithful to the gospel of Christ or to a political tribe? Are we willing to draw moral and spiritual lines when they become inconvenient? You see, biblical and moral criteria for evaluating public figures must be something that Christians hold to. James chapter 3, verses 11 through 13 says this. It says, can both fresh water and salt water flow from the same spring? Who is wise and understanding among you? Let them show it by their good life, by deeds done in the humility that comes from wisdom. And so this verse gives us a clear filter. The fruit. Does this person demonstrate humility, love, truth, and justice? It's simple. The deeds. Are their actions building others up or tearing them down with hatred and pride? Humility. Are they serving others or seeking control and applause? Applied here, we must ask this question. Does this rhetoric align with fresh water of Christ or the salt spring of deception and evil? True conservatism, rooted in faith, cannot compromise with wickedness, no matter how well it markets itself. And so what we must do going forward is simple. We must reject false tribalism. Labels like MAGA, America First, or Christian Conservative mean nothing if the fruit is rotten. We must maintain discernment at all times. And I discern that Nick Fuentes, yes, Nick Fuentes, is the scum of the earth. I pray that he changes his heart so that he can become the salt of the world. Let me know what you think below, my friends, in the comment section. Am I right or am I wrong? Am I weak or am I strong? God bless you and God bless America. Take care.